Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well and certainly staying safe from the aftermath of Ian yesterday. We really appreciate you all taking the time to join us. We are really sad that we weren't able to hold this session in person because we'd love for everyone to have the opportunity to be on the campus of ECU and see what we have the privilege of seeing every day, but we know that those decisions were made for the right reason. And so thank you for just being here with us this morning. My name is Margaret Turner. I'm the Director of Admissions and Recruitment for the Honors College and EC Scholar Program here at ECU. And I'm joined by a wonderful group of panelists that I'm super excited for you all to meet. But kicking it off for us is our interim dean, Dr. Todd Fraley, and he's going to welcome you this morning as well.
Thank you, Margaret. Thank you, everyone, for being here. As Margaret said, we appreciate you all being flexible and switching sort of last minute and moving to a virtual platform. We do hope this is the first or at least one part of a longer conversation that does get you to campus to learn more about not only Honors College and EC Scholars, but everything that ECU has to offer. As Margaret said as well, most excited about letting you have the chance to talk to students. One thing I would say is really take advantage of this opportunity. These are people who had to make the same decision you're pursuing right now, and getting a sense from them of how they made this decision and what that has looked like since they've been at ECU, and really sort of get a sense from them of what it means to be a pirate, what it means to be a member of the Honors College, and everything that this university has to offer. And so looking forward to talking with you today. Thank you for being here. Know that you can connect with us at any time. We will all share contact information at the end. And I think that's another part of this as well, to know that we're here to help you and support you and help you make a really important decision. So thanks for being here. Hope you find this informative, and just looking forward to hearing about your interests and sharing with you all everything we know about ECU. So thanks, and enjoy this this panel.
Thank you, Dr. Fraley. All right, so before we move to the PowerPoint, I'm going to have our panel introduce themselves, because I realize that you all have not met them, and they're awesome people, and I'm excited for you to hear from them, as I said. So I'm going to start with Maggie Bale. Maggie, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name is Maggie Bale, and I am an employee of the Honors College. I'm currently serving as the Admin Support Associate here in the Honors College, so I'm doing a lot of the stuff behind the scenes right now. But I'm also a recent alumni of the Honors College. I graduated in May with a degree in Political Science and Security Studies.
Awesome. Thank you. Rin?
Hi, everyone. I'm Rin Whitfield. I'm a biochemistry major with a business concentration or business minor and entrepreneurship certificate, and I'm a senior this year.
Awesome. Hannah?
Good morning. My name is Hannah Blackburn. I'm a second-year student here at ECU, majoring in engineering with the concentration in biomedical applications.
Awesome. Trip?
Good morning, everyone. I am Trip Brooks. I am a junior here at ECU. I am triple majoring in biology, psychology, and chemistry.
Right. Javier.
Morning, everyone. My name is Javier. I'm a junior here at ECU, and I'm majoring in political science and minoring in public health.
Awesome. And behind the scenes also this morning for us is Kristen Martin, who is amazing. She is our Director of Communications, and she handles all our social media and marketing communications that comes out of the Honors College, and we would all quite frankly be lost without her. So thank you, Kristen, for being behind the scenes. So all right, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you, Maggie. All righty, so again, thank you for being here. Just to cover a little bit more about the Honors College, and I realize that in our audience and those of you joining us today, some of you have maybe already applied to ECU and gotten an invitation to apply to the Honors College. So our goal would be that by the end of this, you would just, have your heart set on applying. Those of you that maybe haven't even applied yet to ECU, we're going to talk through that admissions process and what that looks like. And we're certainly going to take questions at the end, so be ready for those. But just to give you a little bit of an overview of the Honors College, we bring in 200 freshmen every year as part of the Honors College. and all 200 of those students receive some level of scholarship support. And you can see there, we have varying levels of scholarships. We have 20 EC Scholars. That is our top merit scholarship that's offered at ECU. And the good news about that is when you are eligible to apply to the Honors College, you are also eligible to apply for EC Scholars. We would encourage you to do that. The EC Scholarship covers the cost of in-state tuition, plus an additional $10,000 per year for 4 years, and a one-time $5,000 study abroad stipend. So our scholars actually have a requirement to study abroad. However, when students go, where they go, for how long they go, it's very, very flexible depending on what you want to do and where you want to go. But that is a requirement. There's also, and we'll talk through a little bit more about EC Scholars here in just a second. We also bring in 80 Chancellor's Fellows, and their scholarship covers the cost of in-state tuition here at ECU, which is about $4,500 per year for 4 years. And then we also bring in 100 Centennial Fellows, and their scholarship is a flat $2,500 per year for 4 years. So this makes up our cohort every year of 200 Honors College students. And a couple things to note about the scholarship that are very important. It is good for 8 semesters. So those of you that may be bringing AP and or dual enrollment credit with you to the Honors College, and if you're able to finish your undergraduate degree in less than 8 semesters, you can use the scholarship towards a graduate program at ECU. So we're definitely seeing more students take advantage of that. However, I would note that we don't push or encourage students to graduate in less than 8 semesters, just because we want them to experience being an undergrad, and just the time of your life that you have during that season. It really is a once in a life season, and we want students to take advantage of many of the things that we're going to talk about throughout this presentation, such as study abroad and internships, summer programs, all those types of activities. So we'll talk a little bit more through that in a minute. You can also stack scholarships on top of the Honors College scholarship. So that's important as well. And know that you can apply for other scholarships external to ECU and also internal to ECU, and stack those as you go. So a little bit more about EC Scholars, our top merit scholarship program. Obviously, this is basically our equivalent of like the Moorhead Cane at Chapel Hill or the Park at NC State, if you're familiar with those. In addition to the scholarship, our scholars do have a few additional living learning opportunities. They take a few additional trips throughout the year, such as a pre-college retreat to Ocracoke. Sophomore year, they go to DC. And then also senior year, they have the opportunity to choose between Charleston or New York City. They also do an internship with a local nonprofit in the community. So there are some additional benefits and a few additional requirements for being EC Scholars. But we are happy to answer those questions as we go. Both Trip and Javier are scholars, and they can answer questions too if you have more specific questions. But the point here that we really want to make is we want you to apply for EC Scholars. As I said earlier, when you're eligible to apply to the Honors College, you're also eligible to apply for EC Scholars. So please take advantage of that and do that during the application process. So in addition to the scholarship, and I know for any parents on our webinar today that scholarship certainly rings loudly to you. That is one of the things that makes us really unique in the state of North Carolina, is the fact that all of our Honors College students receive some level of scholarship. Many honors programs in the state actually require you to pay to be part of them. So we've set our model up a little bit differently. But in addition to the scholarship, we have a lot of benefits that come with being part of the Honors College. Priority registration is one of those that every year we just, hear from students just how important that is. I know you heard even from the introductions, we do have a good number of students that will double major, major and minor, add different types of academic experiences to their undergrad time. And that's because they can do that with priority registration. That means that they register before the general population of students at ECU, and that is a huge benefit. Not only do you get your class schedule set the way you want it to be, maybe you don't want an 8 a.m. class, or maybe you're trying to get a certain professor, but you also have the flexibility to set your schedule so that you are able to add a minor or a major if that's something you're interested in. That's not a requirement, of course, but it is something that a good number of students take advantage of. We also offer priority admission to many of our graduate programs here at ECU. You have an additional advisor within the Honors College. So you have your regular academic advisor based on what your major is, but you also have an Honors College advisor. There are some courses required as to be in the Honors College, and I'd like to be upfront about that. However, I think there's a myth associated with that students are fearful that being in the Honors College means that you are going to have to take, 15 extra courses, and that's just not the case. So first year, our honors students take honors 2000 and 3000, and those are additional classes that do not count towards anything else in your major. However, they're really beneficial because you're learning things about qualitative research, and you're working on what we call wicked problems or real world issues together with your Honors College peers. And so that course is really, really valuable. You also are required to take an honors seminar. Those are really neat classes, very small, maybe 10 to 15 honor students, taught by just amazing faculty from across the campus that have submitted proposals to teach those seminars. So it's a discussion-based class, very hands-on. Every semester they are a little bit different because different faculty will submit those proposals. So we're able to handpick what's offered each semester. Students really, really enjoy seminars. And then lastly, there's a signature honors project. That is sort of a culmination of your time. It can be something in your major. It could be something unrelated to your major. Maybe you're working in an undergraduate research lab and you sort of fall in love with the work that you're doing. That can be your signature honors project. For Hannah, as an engineering major, she has a capstone project that she's required to complete her senior year. So that typically for engineering majors would be their signature honors project. So there's lots of flexibility in when you do the honors project and in what you choose to do that about. And we can answer specific questions about that if you have them as we go. So in addition to the scholarship, community is one of the biggest parts of the Honors College. And I'm going to have our students chime in here in just a second, but all 200 of our freshmen live together in the same residence hall. That is just a one-year requirement, but we know from just hearing from our students and being able to see firsthand for ourselves how valuable that community is. So our students are currently residing in Green Residence Hall, which is the newest renovated residence hall on the campus of ECU. So it's really nice. It's also an amazing location. Like, it's close to the Honors College building. It's very close to the rec center and one of the dining halls that we have, very close to the academic classroom buildings, as well as the student center and the library. And so, but more than that, it really is about our students living together and experiencing that transition to college with their peers. So they're not alone as they're moving away from home for the first time and making that adjustment to just having, living on their own. And so I'm going to start with, well, anybody, any of you can talk about this, I know, but maybe Ren and Hannah, do y'all want to start? And then Trip and Javier, if y'all want to add anything just about the community of being in the Honors College.
I can start. As a freshman, I lived in Gateway, so not Green, but that was the year that COVID started. And so one of the things I love to say when I talk to people about the community is that I was so sad when I had to leave. Like when we had to move out because of COVID and everything, I really missed having the community that the Honors College had given us by just having us all in one centralized location. I met my best friends, lived across the hall from me, were in the Honors College. And so I'm able to live with them now and everything. But the community that you have, just being able to, see people in the hall and talk to them about classes, they really push you. And then you're also able to be around like-minded people all the time, which I think is a huge benefit because when you come to college, it's already a big transition. I came from a small school too. So coming in and being like, oh my goodness, I don't have 60 people in my class anymore. I have like 250 and even more than that on campus. So being able to be in a smaller community was also a huge benefit to me. And I was able to meet a lot more people, I think, than if I'd gone somewhere where I didn't have more of a centralized community like that.
Awesome, thank you. Hannah, do you have anything you want to add?
Yes. So I'm a sophomore here at ECU in the Honors College, and I like Green Residence Hall so much that I'm staying here again my second year. And just kind of reiterating what Ren said, I think that one of the most important things to me is being able to make connections. I was actually homeschooled through high school, so I didn't have a big class at all. So having a lot of people to interact with and a lot of people who have the same experience was really encouraging to me to be able to reach out to them if I needed, or being so close to all of the resources on campus, like being close to the Mamie Jenkins building, and all of those wonderful people who work there, just really gave me a great support system and gave me encouragement as I went through the school year, learning my way as a freshman and now building on all of that as a sophomore.
Awesome, thank you. Trip or Javier, did anybody want to add anything to that?
Kind of highlighting Hannah's, I stayed in the dorms and community living freshman and sophomore year. I really enjoyed it. I was in Ballard, and I was also in Green, so I got to experience the best of both worlds. And like both of them previously stated, it really does give you an instant plug-in. You see your peers wherever you go, whether you're going to a dining hall, going to classes, and also you have a lot of like location wise, like I think I timed it my sophomore year, and I think the Green location, the furthest point from it is like 10 minutes away. So you can cross pretty much the entire campus in less than 15 at a casual walk. So it's just an amazing location. You get to see people every day that you know and work with. And it makes it very pleasant and makes it easy to make a bunch of friends.
Awesome, thank you. I know that transition to college is definitely just that, a big transition. So I think that community is really, really valuable to our students. And it's also, important to note that our students are not sitting in their room 24/7 with their nose in a book. In fact, that's not really the type of student that we're looking for. Our students, and you'll hear them expand on this in a few minutes, but they're very involved across campus. They not only attend all the fun, amazing sporting events on campus, but they're involved in Greek life and campus ministries. They do club sports and intramural sports, and they, just involved in student organizations. ECU has over 500 student organizations, and if you don't find the one that fits for you, or you just have a passion for something else, and I know Hannah and Ren can both relate to this, you can start your own organization, which I think is amazing and not that uncommon for our students. And so we do lots of social activities. We're about to have our big annual party on the porch here, homecoming weekend. I think that photo on the left is from that. We go out to a big farm and everyone hangs out. Our alumni comes back for that event. We do paddle boarding. So there's a lot of social things that come as well with being part of the Honors College. And that's extremely important. I think especially with coming out of COVID and our incoming freshmen this year, and even our sophomores, it's like they had such a rude end to their high school time, which is, you know, and so we're trying to really rebuild that community, focus on mental health, you know, having resources at ECU and within the Honors College to be able to, you know, just be a regular student among a group of amazing students. And so that's important to us as a staff, that we continue to kind of check on our students, make sure that they are, you know, headed to the football game over the weekend. We rarely ask them about their classes. That's just not something we have to worry about, thankfully, but probably more apt to ask them about student organizations they're involved in, or if they're going to the game this weekend, because we want them to really balance their academics with just having, you know, a great undergrad experience here on the campus of ECU. So next, the other part, so we've talked a little bit about scholarship and community, but the next part is really what I like to call opportunities for what we call high impact experiences that really add to your time as a student here at ECU. So we are going to throw, and I mean bombard, overload your email inbox with opportunities for things such as undergraduate research, summer programs, internships, study abroad, service opportunities, and it can be a little overwhelming, quite honestly. And so we want you to just sort of take the time to meander through those emails, but pick and choose carefully those that you have a genuine interest in considering. The other nice thing about that community is you have older honor students, much like the amazing ones on this panel today, that you can ask questions of, like, how did you decide if you wanted to go abroad, or where to go, or when to go, or, you know, what does research look like? I've always thought of research as being, you know, in a some type of lab setting with a white coat on and goggles, doing science in a chemistry lab. But research can be qualitative. It can look a million different ways here on the campus of ECU. So being able to pick and choose and take advantage of those opportunities is something that a lot of our honor students do take advantage of. And so I'm going to start with Javier. I'm putting you on the spot because I know you had such a cool summer this summer, but do you want to talk a little bit about some of the things you've taken advantage of as a student? And then you all chime in here, because I know you've all done different things, and that's probably one of my favorite things about the Honors College. There's no cookie cutter Honors College student. Everybody's on their own individual path, taking advantage of different things. So Javier, you want to start?
Yeah, 100%. So when I first came to ECU, I had started off working for Mr. Beast. If y'all have heard of him, a YouTuber. He's local here to Greenville. I was there when they launched the philanthropy channel and when they started serving to address food insecurity here in the Eastern region. So that was really cool. As a political science major, I've worked on multiple political campaigns within the past 2 years. And then most recently this summer, I got to go to the United States Senate as an intern, a legislative intern there. And it was just an incredible experience. Getting to be there and like at the heart of our nation's capital and see everything going on. There's something new every day. And a lot of it is thanks to the support that I got here from the Honors College, because I'm just surrounded by a bunch of like-minded, driven individuals too that motivate me to go for these opportunities that I may not have dreamed was imaginable like years ago, but it had always been a dream of mine. So it was just an incredible achievement for me, an incredible experience overall.
Awesome, thank you. Trip, you want to add to that? Some of the things you're doing, taking advantage of?
Sure, absolutely. So I actually did study abroad this summer, excuse me. I had always wanted to go to the Galapagos Islands. It has always just been a dream. And through the Honors College, I actually found a opportunity to go. So I went actually to the Galapagos Islands for 2.5 weeks over summer. I got to see all the classical things like the giant Galapagos tortoises, the finches. It was an amazing opportunity. I got to meet friends that I'm still in contact with. We actually had over 8 different universities across the nation represented there. So it was awesome. And then I also do research, which again, I found through an email from the Honors College. So I actually look at parasite species found in crab species on the East Coast. And then I also look at boat traffic's impact on coastal ecosystems. So very heavily involved in the ecology, but once again, all those opportunities kind of came from all those emails that Ms. Turner talked about. So she was not exaggerating. I think I've counted it. It's usually about 3 to 4 every day, which sounds alarming, but they're amazing. And they have such a diverse range. We have things like art competitions to like PA opportunities. So it's really cool.
Awesome. Thank you, Trip. Hannah, you want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff you're doing, and then Ren, you follow her?
Yeah, absolutely. So this past summer specifically, to reiterate, my major is biomedical engineering, but I had the opportunity through emails, like Trip said, and even encouragement from Miss Margaret Turner, to reach out to the engineering department and to take on the position in there to do research on the coast. So this past summer, I got to go to the Coastal Studies Institute, where ECU has a partnership with them, and live there for 7 weeks to actively go outside and gather research from putting a big speaker on a boat and playing it towards microphones on land, because this project was funded by the Office of Naval Research, and they basically want to see how close they can get to the coastline, to other enemy lines without being heard. So that's the big picture goal of this project. And I was just grateful to have the opportunity to go live out at the beach for a summer and to be able to engage with the research. And now this fall, I'm working with post-processing of all of that data to figure out how temperature and other weather components affect the travel of sound waves. So that's just one of the opportunities I had through the Honors College with the Department of Engineering.
Awesome. Thank you. Ren?
So I also studied abroad this summer. I went to Italy for a month through the Ecu Tuscany program, which is a little bit different from what Trip did because it's only ECU students. And we have our own apartments, our own like living quarters, classroom, all of that whenever you're over there. And it was super amazing because we got to travel throughout the whole 4-week experience. So I think we went to about 7 places over the course of a month. And then we also were able to see a lot of, the normal tourist type things like the David, things like that. But we were also able to have experiences that I never would have thought that I would have had whenever I went there. We went inside of a cave. We did a pasta making class. All of that was included in the experience. I didn't have to pay anything outside of just the study abroad as well. And I found out about it the first week of college whenever an email was sent out encouraging students to apply to study abroad. And so I wanted to do it the summer after freshman year, but because of COVID, it got pushed back to this year. And it's been my most favorite experience. You get like general ed credits by going. So I did yoga as one of my classes and art appreciation. So not super intense courses, and was able to really enjoy the cultural experience while I was there. And then also I have an internship. I'm on the pre-dental track, and I have an internship through the dental school here that I found through talking to Dr. Fraley and making connections that I got through the Honors College. So all really great experiences for me.
Awesome. Thank
Margaret,
you.
can I just add just real quick, two things. One is very important. I just learned after years of working with students that 3 to 4 emails is alarming. So I'm going to be very, very strategic, Trip, in what emails I send during the day. Once I get to 4, I'm done. So that's good to know. But more importantly, for those of you in the audience, what I hope you're hearing, and Margaret said this, but I want to reiterate, is there's not a typical honors college student, beyond the fact that they're highly motivated, they value community, and they're really looking for unique opportunities. And beyond that, we want you to know that if you decide to come to ECU and to the Honors College, the things you're interested in, we're going to support you. We're going to push you to take advantage of opportunities, not to go live at the beach to do what Hannah did, but if that's what you want to do, we're going to find a way for you to do that as well. And not to say you need to intern in DC, but if you want to do an internship in a city, that you may have never been to before, let us know those things. The more we get to know you, the more we can help you, the more we can find opportunities for you that are going to help you grow, let you flourish, and really prepare you to do what you want to do next. And I think that's hopefully what you're hearing through this is people with very different interests. Trip talked about a dream that he had, and we were able to help sort of make that happen. but they're the ones doing the work. You know, they find the opportunities, they make the connections with us, and we find opportunities. But as Margaret said, there's not a cookie cutter student. It's students who are motivated and who are willing to share with us what they want to do, and then we can help you. And so that's, I think, a critical piece that we want to make sure you're hearing throughout the day.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, and before we move on real quickly, because I know we're going to hit the admissions process next, would y'all talk a little bit about sort of some of the student organizations? Hannah, if you want to start, because you've done an amazing job with Helping Hands, and then you all talk a little bit about, you know, just the fun social things that you do that may or may not be tied to your major, because I think it's so important for prospective students to really understand, as I mentioned, that, you know, we want you to obviously do well in school. We're not too worried about that part, but to take advantage of some other things and just be a regular college student. Hannah, you want to start talking a little bit about Helping Hands?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So the Helping Hand Project is a nonprofit organization that has national chapters. Most of them are other UNC schools, but I decided the end of my freshman year that I really wanted to get involved. So the broad overview of it is that the limb difference community is a group of people. Usually we're focusing on pediatrics, so kids who don't have fully formed arms or they have a limb difference issue. So we're focusing on serving them and giving them opportunities and confidence by 3D printing and designing prosthetics for them that actually work. So they're recreational, functional prosthetic arms. They're designed by students at colleges. And we really just want to reach out to these families and these kids and connect with them, because a lot of the time, I know that my brother was born without a fully formed arm, and I've seen him deal with low self-confidence. Just people can judge a lot based on appearance, and that's not really optimal, and it can have a lot of impacts on kids. So we want to acknowledge those and make people aware of these problems, but also giving these kids something like, if you have a device on your arm that gives you the function of a hand, then that's a really cool conversation starter. And it's also an opportunity for us to collaborate within the university as well. That's one of the things I'm so excited about, because as an engineering student, I feel like sometimes I can get caught up in talking to engineering students going through the same things that I am. But I really made a point when I started this club here to reach out to a lot of other departments. So now I've got connections in occupational therapy, and occupational therapists work a lot with prosthetics in their career. Physical therapy, similar, understanding how the body works, and a lot of opportunities there as well. There's a lot of pre-med and nursing people involved in my club as well. So just a huge unification of majors and students who all have diverse backgrounds and skills. And I think that this is really going to become something great. We have aspirations to host events, to reach out to kids and design custom prosthetics for them. So all of this is just starting from the ground up this semester. And I'm really excited for where we're going with that.
Awesome. Thank you, Hannah. That's amazing. Ren, do you want to talk a little bit about your Smiles Club and Rotaract and some of that? And then Trip and Javier, y'all please chime in.
Yeah, so just like Hannah, I also was involved in starting 2 clubs on campus. One started my freshman year, and that's the Rotaract Club. And it actually started because of an honors college peer. He came to me and he was like, hey, I was in Interact in high school and they don't have a Rotaract club here. And I really think that it would be a very beneficial thing. And kind of was like, you want to help me start it? And so I ended up taking on starting a club as a freshman first semester, and it's been amazing. I'm still the president of the club now. If you don't know what Rotaract is, it's like the college version of Rotary. So it's big on professionalism, networking, service, and just kind of bringing together people of all different walks of life. So we have all different majors within the club, which has been a really cool experience because you get to meet people that you probably wouldn't have met otherwise, because maybe they're not honors college or maybe they're in a different major from you, and you're able to meet a bunch of people and give back to the community. So that's been really amazing. We've done a lot of different volunteering opportunities, like with the Joy Community Center, which is the local soup kitchen, which is now also going to have a medical component to it. So we would make crafts with local children and just kind of spend time with them. And then I also helped last year start the Smile Squad Honor Society, which, like I said, I'm a pre-dental student. So what we do with that is it's kind of a dual club. We have members, and so we'll have member meetings that talk about dental school and how to get in and the admissions process and all of that sort of thing. But we also fundraise the entire semester. And then at the end of the semester, we order supplies like toothbrushes, floss, toothpaste, a little toy, and then we all get together and we bag it. We take it to nonprofit organizations or elementary schools, and then we give it out to the kids there and do an oral health education, like little games, things like that. And we're really trying to help children who maybe don't always get the chance to go to a regular dentist every 6 months for preventative care. We're trying to give them the opportunity to also have that kind of care. And so I've really enjoyed being in both of those clubs. They're completely different. They both focus on service, though, which is very close to my heart. And then also that's part of ECU's mission. So they have given me an outlet to meet a lot of like-minded people and really challenge my leadership skills as well.
Awesome, thank you. Javier or Trip, want to add anything?
I can go ahead. I've been serving in student government now for about 2 years. I'm the director of university affairs, and student government in college, at least, I found out is very different from high school. We work with a budget of around $500,000 to help grow student organizations, and we can also push forward for policies to improve the university. We were just working on something that we passed last week to create an extra meal swipe program for students in need. They can apply for leftover meal swipes at the end of semesters and have those leftovers from other students applied to their accounts. And we're trying to get that work with the administration right now. So there's just so many things you can do on campus, and so many service opportunities like Ren highlighted on that really are with the spirit of ECU and the Honors College.
Awesome. Trip?
I am involved in a little bit of different things. I am involved in Sustainabilities. It's an organization that actually got started in the Honors 2000-3000 seminar, which is the course you'll take freshman year. It is basically this idea that we're supporting, obviously don't know if you've heard, bee populations are on the decline globally. So we're trying to help create different areas of involvement, including like flower beds. We build like herb gardens. And it's just a great way to get involved and meet people, but it's also a great way to serve something that I personally find very important. And then I'm also part of a honors fraternity. It is co-ed, and it serves scholarship and volunteer-based topics. It's called Phi Sigma Pi. And then I'm also part of the organizational group of this scholarship program called Roundtable, which is basically just a group that helps organize and facilitate the activities that the scholars do throughout the year. So that's about it for me.
All right, awesome. So now y'all are fully aware of why I have these students here on this panel. Now keep in mind that obviously these folks are doing a lot of different things, and I know they would agree as well that, you know, finding what your passions are or bringing these passions from high school into college and the Honors College at ECU, you know, you don't have to do all of this. You don't have to do everything your first year. I highly recommend just transitioning to college first and focusing on your academics that first year, and then sort of picking and choosing those things that you have a genuine interest in. We're gonna, as Dr. Fraley shared, we're gonna encourage you along the way and help support you and help you make connections. But keep in mind that as you go along, those are things that you can do throughout your time here at ECU. So let's talk through the admissions process a little bit, because that's super important, especially now that we're actually in October. Can't believe it. So to apply to the Honors College, you have to apply to ECU first. So as a regular student, you want to complete the ECU application, and that is honestly should be done sooner than later. ECU does what's called rolling admissions. And so our Office of Undergraduate Admissions reviews applications as they come in. A completed application, of course, keep in mind, is not just your application, but also your transcript. So Both of those have to be here for your application to be considered complete. And then our admissions team will review those applications. If you have a 3.7 unweighted GPA or a 4.0 weighted GPA, then when you get your acceptance packet in the mail, you will also get an invitation to apply to the Honors College. And again, that means you're eligible to apply to the Honors College and ECU Scholars, and that is a supplemental application that is due by November 30th. So the sooner you apply to ECU, the sooner you get admitted, and that can take honestly anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. And that's why I say you want to go ahead and get that application in. And then you will get that invitation to apply upon acceptance to ECU, and you have until November 30th to complete the application. Just a few pointers that I would offer. Let's see, Maggie, you want to go to the next slide? I think most of them are covered on the next one. Thank you. So again, apply to ECU early. You can apply through Common App, CFNC, or through ECU's Navigator portal. That's our own application. Again, the sooner you apply, and I'll be honest with you, the longer you wait, the more applications are here or in the queue, so to speak, to be reviewed. And so it takes a little bit longer before our undergraduate admissions team to process those. So applying early is key. Once you get your invitation to apply to the Honors College, you want to complete the general scholarship application first. That's where you're going to list your extracurriculars, activities, awards, accomplishments, jobs that you hold, all those types of information. And you have to sign and date that. That section is important for 2 reasons. One, we do review that as part of the Honors College application review. So take your time on that section. And second, that also puts your name in the hat for other scholarships that ECU offers. So that part of the application is really important. After you do sign and date the general application, then you will see the Honors College application. And that is going to be a series of short essays, 1 recommendation. That's really, really important. I'll talk about that here in a second. And then also, it will ask you at that point in time if you want to apply for EC Scholars. If you click yes, then there's an additional essay and a 2-minute video that's required for the EC Scholar portion of the application. So all of those are due November 30th. So you want to have plenty of time to complete those. The recommendation survey is just that. Choose that person carefully, as we're going to ask that person lots of very specific questions about you as a person. So it doesn't have to be a teacher or counselor. If you're at a really big high school where you may not have as personable a relationship with a teacher or counselor, then I would recommend a coach or a pastor or a troop leader or an employer, with someone that can answer questions about who you are as a person. We don't really ask a lot of questions about what a great student you are, because we already know that. And we're trying to dig a little deeper to get to know a little bit more about you. And then make sure all parts of the application, honors, EC Scholars, as well as your recommendation, are in and submitted before midnight on November 30th. Anything submitted after that will not be taken, so your application would not be considered complete. So you want to just make sure that you're paying attention to those deadlines and timelines. Follow us on social media. As I mentioned, Kristen Martin is amazing with our social media. We have prospective students in mind. We share a lot of information for our current students on social media, but we also share a lot of information for prospective students. And if you want to see a day in the life of Hannah or Ren or Javier or Trip, you can follow us. We do Tuesday takeovers where you do follow. Hannah just did a takeover for us where we followed her through a day of things that she's doing on campus. And so we choose different majors and different backgrounds. And we also share a lot of the opportunities that we've talked about today for study abroad and internships and things like that through our social media. So if you want to check that out, please and do so. We're even on TikTok now. We're up in our game. Kristen's keeping us all young over here. But anyway, so feel free to follow us there. Is that it? That might be the end of it. Okay, so anyway, I think that pretty much wraps up our formal presentation. And so now what we want to do is just open it up for you all to ask any questions that you'd like. You can direct those at myself, Dr. Fraley, or Maggie, or of course any of our students, and we're happy to answer some of those. Also, if you notice in the chat, Kristen has shared our Honors College admissions timeline. On that timeline is a QR code that if you scan that, it will take you to our exact deadline for dates and things like that. And so please take advantage of clicking on that. But any questions that you all may have for us, please use the chat and we'll be happy to answer those. Anybody have any questions overall? I think I saw one question earlier that was asking about if you didn't apply as a freshman, could you apply like as a sophomore at ECU? And the truth is that unfortunately, no, you cannot. You have to apply as an incoming freshman to ECU. So you can apply as a transfer, however, but that requires you to take 24 credit hours at a North Carolina community college after high school, so not before high school. So that's important as well. Let's see, a couple other questions I see here. Is your GPA solely dependent for your honors application? I don't know exactly what you mean for that. It is, we don't require test scores. Our Office of Undergraduate Admissions determines honors eligibility. So they sort of make that call. They're looking for that 3.7 unweighted GPA or 4.0 weighted GPA in order for you to get your invitation to apply to the Honors College. Okay, great question about our notification, and this is on our timeline as well. So you have to complete your application, your supplemental application by November 30th. And after that, we review. I have a large committee of faculty and staff from across campus that review all the applications, and those we will make notifications by the end of January if you've been invited to be in the Honors College. If you are a finalist for EC Scholars, then at that time you would be notified as well. And our EC Scholar finalists come to campus on February 19th to interview for one of those final 20 spots. That's called Selection Sunday, but you would receive all that notification by the end of January. And then students have until April 15th to accept or decline our offer. It's not binding once you get your offer, so to speak. And so we want you to take the time, come back and visit campus, come talk with us, ask questions so that you can make a great decision for you.
I was going to step in real quick and answer the questions regarding the EC Scholar video application.
Sure.
It is, I personally thought it was intimidating, but I wanted to give you some tips and highlights. They know you academically now. They know that you are driven and responsible. They now want to know you as a person. So they're looking for, what are you involved in? What are your hobbies? What are your passions? More into kind of what makes you who you are. So just kind of focus on that. The video is very unique. It's a very free kind of formatting. You have a lot of artistic freedom, honestly, and I've seen some very creative things. So just kind of focus on how to present yourself in a way that shows off what you enjoy and what you hold valuable.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, I would agree with Trip on that. You want to I think the prompt that centers around really showing or telling us something about yourself that you haven't been able to articulate in your essays up to this point. So really being able to focus on something unique about yourself. I would highlight that for the whole application process, truthfully. As you can imagine, this is a competitive program, and we are going to have close to 2,500 applications probably for 200 spots. And so being able to articulate meaningful experiences that you've had in high school, passions, not just academically, but even outside of that, is really, really important. There are all kinds of majors represented in the Honors College, which is probably one of my favorite things. As you've seen here, everybody here has a different interest and major, and even students, you know, that are pre-dental like Ren are doing completely different things. And that's, again, what makes the Honors College so unique. And so we have, you know, we have plenty of computer technology majors in the Honors College: computer science, information computer technology. We sometimes have professors from those areas that teach a seminar, which is fun as well. So hopefully that answered your question as well.
Margaret, can I just add to that?
Mhm.
And we also have the Honors College has an innovation and design lab that would allow students with those types of interests to do some work there with some unique technology, 3D printing, different things, but also connect with students, other students with similar interests, but students from very different backgrounds. And then the university has an Isaac Innovation Hub that is connected with the Innovation and Design Lab that, again, is created for students with those types of interests, whether that's your major or not, but ways to utilize technology, learn about emerging technologies that really, again, they call it sort of a collision space where students can meet, brainstorm ideas, share ideas, and see what comes out of that. So I think, as Margaret said, those students exist with those majors, but also students with interests in that area.
Absolutely. Thank you. Let's see, would early college students be eligible? Yes, 100% yes. We have a lot of early college students that apply and that are in the Honors College. You should definitely apply as a freshman to ECU, period. That's super important. Again, for students to be eligible to apply as a transfer, you have to have completed those 24 credit hours after high school. So early college students are taking their classes at the community college while they're in high school. So you want to apply as a freshman. You still bring all those credits with you. You would probably come in like as a third year student or second year student or something like that. But yes, you can most certainly apply as an early college student. And then a transfer student was accepted to start as a sophomore. Yes, if you got the invitation to apply to the Honors College, then you met our criteria as a transfer student. So you can definitely apply for that. Our deadline is a little bit later for transfer students. That can be also found on our website. And if you have specific questions, you can reach out to me at a later time, and I'm happy to talk with you about that. Any questions for our students? I'd love for you to take advantage of hearing from them. Let's see, regarding credit for AP classes, ECU does accept most AP credit with a score of 3 or better on that AP exam. Our registrar is probably the best place to go for that. If you have very specific questions about what counts and all those good things, they sort of make that determination. That's not something we do. Even on the admission side, that's something that our registrar, who handles like the behind the scenes of course registration and all those kind of things. And you can email them at registrar@ecu.edu.
And a lot of times your academic advisor will have information on that. Once you're admitted to the university and start to register for classes, you know, that's something they will work with as well. And then your advisor works with you, but also then works with the registrar to make sure that the AP credit that you're seeking, you meet the requirements. So it's a process that involves quite a few people, but we're used to it because some of our kids come in with AP credit. And so it's something we could, like Margaret said, we can't make determinations, but we can make sure the right people are in the conversation.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Okay, well, one of the things I like to close with is to ask our students just to share each individually about sort of why they chose ECU. over other options that they had coming out of high school. As you can imagine, all of our students have a lot of opportunities, which is, you know, what you're working for, right, while you're in high school, which is amazing. But then it can honestly be a little bit stressful at times when you finally have to make that decision, because all of a sudden it becomes a little more real when you have those offers on the table, so to speak. And so I'm going to start with Trip and then Javier, Hannah, and Ren. If y'all will sort of share just your own personal reasons for why you chose ECU over some of your other opportunities, that would be awesome. And then we'll close it out unless we have any other questions.
All right, I will try to make this quick because my story is a little long and up and down. So leaving high school, I did not know what I wanted to do, nor where I wanted to go. I think the final number that I applied to was about 16 different universities. Just Dr. Fairley's shaking his head. So I cast a wide net in hopes that I would land something. And I got into ECU and I got into the Honors College submission. And then I also got the Selection Sunday opportunity, which is the kind of finalist for scholars. And there you're paired with a host who takes you on campus, basically shows you around, makes sure that you have all your questions answered one-on-one. My host is Aaron Johnson. He is no longer in the undergraduate. He's actually in dental school now. And so he basically showed me everywhere on campus that was cool. He showed me his favorite study place in the library on the 3rd floor. If you want a personal tour, just let me know. And I came in as psych and creative writing, I'm pretty sure. And now I'm biology, chemistry, and psychology. And between that, there's probably been about 3 or 4 major changes and all these other stuff too. So the point being why I chose ECU is, one, the community in the Honors College is incredibly flexible and willing to help you grow. This is not a community that kind of like is cutthroat and, you know, come in here, you got to work hard and like just constantly be like on the grind. That's not the case. They encourage you to live in college and not just learn in college, which I think is a big difference. You're living here, you're growing in your friends, you're growing in your extracurriculars. Literally, we took a paddle boarding trip out to a Little Washington, which is 30 minutes away from here, as just an honors excursion. And it was just a bunch of us in the water talking. The opportunities you get here is not just for your academic career, but it is for your lifetime. You get help in all regards. And you're supported by staff, by alumni, and by peers. The Honors College is not just an honors college. It sounds so cliche, but it really is a family-based unit. We are here to make sure that each other succeed, grow, and are supported nonetheless. COVID, no COVID, 3 majors, no 3 majors, extracurriculars, no extracurriculars. So yeah, best of luck, everyone.
Thank you, Trip.
For me, I always knew that coming in, I would want to end up in a career that is somewhat involved with public service. And similar to Trip, I did not start where I am now. I started pre-med, and at some point in one of my chemistry courses, everyone was telling me, "Oh, it's just a weed out course. You got to be ready for it." And then I realized that I was the one being weeded out. But that was okay because I was never meant to feel bad about it. The Honors College staff was always there for me. And when I mentioned that I want to switch, it was just like, okay, what are you interested in? What are you passionate about? And that's when I switched to policy, because that's when I found what I care about and how I feel that I am most equipped to serve. And so something I would just like to say is that the university, like I was really drawn to the university's goal of service, not just students serving their community, but the university is serving you as well. They're there to help you grow as a student, and they're there to support you no matter what the changes you make, like Trip said, where you end up, they're always going to be there for you.
Thank you.
Elsie. So I guess starting from one of the beginning points, I visited EC for the first time in 10th grade in high school. And I knew from the first time I came here that this is where I wanted to go. I didn't personally really consider any other schools because moving in from, as I finished through high school, I knew that I wanted to do biomedical engineering. And the best engineering schools in North Carolina are NC State and ECU. And I just kept coming back to ECU because it really meant a lot to me. Like I said, I was homeschooled, so I didn't have the opportunity to have a whole lot of connections and people to reach out to and resources to have. So the fact that when I came to events like this, if I got the opportunity to meet Dr. Fairley, or I got to talk to Miss Margaret or any of the other panelist students, especially Honors College days, it really meant a lot to me that they would take time to answer my questions and to reach out and follow up I know when I was going through the admissions process that there are individuals that would type out the emails and individually send them to students. And that just meant a whole lot to me. And kind of reiterating what Tripp was saying, just the community that the students have where we build each other up and spend time and support each other has meant a lot to me. My best friends have come from the Honors College as we took time to figure out and get together, talk about the classes that we're taking together, like the 2000 and 3000. And one of the other aspects was scholarship. I know that that really benefited me. And I was so dead set on coming to ECU and engaging with these amazing people that I applied for the Honors College program. And I was like, even if I don't get in here, I'm going to go to community college and transfer in. I just wanted to come here so badly that I personally didn't apply to any other colleges. So it was like ride or die, ECU, go Pirates. But that's kind of been my experience.
Thank you, Hannah.
For me, I knew I wanted to stay in state, and I only live about 40 minutes away from Greenville. So, and my dad also went to college here and played baseball and everything. So I was very familiar with ECU and its campus. And when you have to fill out the ECU award, like general application, I think it asks you why you want to go to ECU. Yeah, okay, I didn't know if it still said that, but I know that when I filled it out, when I was a senior in high school, I said that I loved the community environment. It felt very collaborative, that people just seem really nice and like welcoming here. And when I wrote that, I don't think I even really realized what it was going to be like when I got here. Because it really is so collaborative, so community-based, not only just you having peers that really care about you and faculty that really care about you and check in on you and everything, but also it serves, like ECU as a whole serves the community around it so well and so deeply. Like there's such a connection there that I'm really passionate about, just coming from a small town, the way that ECU gives back to Greenville and to the surrounding counties is really important to me. And so just having a community-based place to call home like ECU was really the reason I chose it. And it's worked out to be probably the best decision ever. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Well, if there's not any other questions, we will go ahead and wrap up. We thank you again for joining us on your Saturday morning. I would still encourage you to try to come visit campus. We do have a rescheduled open house date of November 5th. So, you know, if you have another time that works for you to visit outside of November 5th, if you need to come on a teacher work day, that works better for you, we would love to host you. We can meet and talk with you individually. If you have a friend that is interested in ECU, we are going to record this session and send it back out. Share it with anyone you'd like. We'll be sending it out widely for those that weren't able to join us this morning, but we appreciate your time, and thank you to my panel of students who, as always, are so genuine and sincere, and I hope that came across to you as well. And for my colleagues, Dr. Fraley and Maggie and Kristen, for joining us this morning as well. But I hope everyone has a great rest of your weekend and continues to stay safe. And if you have any other questions, I am gonna drop my email in the chat over there. And you are more than welcome to reach out. All of us are responsive by email, so if you have questions for us, please let us know. It is a warm, welcoming environment here, so hopefully you picked up on that today. But thank you again for your time. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take care.
Thank you all.